fellow marine scientists, and welcome to video number 4 in the Changing Ocean program video support series. What we're going to be looking at in today's video is the production of a t-test in order to test whether the data that we've collected from one site compared to the data we've collected from another site is significantly different. But just as a recap, before we head down that path, video number 1, we basically looked at how we download the data analysis tool pack, or we install it onto the Excel program that you have on your computers. Video number 2 enabled us to use that data analysis tool pack to produce some summary statistics. We have the summary statistics that we produced here for Wavebreak Island and Coran Cove. And it was, of course, based upon our jingle clam abundance, so the number of jingle clams at Wavebreak Island and those found at Coran Cove Marina. So those are our summary statistics. Then we started, and we could see, you can see from the mean values, 20.4 jingle clams at Wavebreak and 1.4 at Coran Cove, we can see that there would appear to be a significant difference, but we have to prove that. We need to support that. In order to do that, what we've done here in video number 3, we've actually produced a column chart, okay? And included in that column chart, we've entered in our standard error values for both Wavebreak Island and also here for Coran Cove. Now, the fact that those error bars do not actually overlap at all would indicate that this data is significant, but let's run a t-test just to make sure. All right, so what we need to do then, we will need to search our top banner, looking for the data tab. So we'll click on our data tab. This will bring up our selection below, and we'll run to the right here and we will select data analysis. So if we click on our data analysis, now what we have here, originally, in order to produce our stats for Wavebreak Island, our summary stats, we use descriptive statistics. But if we head below, go down the samples that are here, we can see there are 3 t-tests. So there is the t-test paired 2 sample for means, a t-test 2 sample assuming equal variances, which we are certainly not going to use. But we also have here a t-test for 2 samples assuming unequal variances. Now, for today's video, we are going to be evaluating the means. So remember our chart. This is a chart that actually represents the mean values between Wavebreak and Coran. So these are the error bars that do not overlap. We want to check to make sure that those error bars are a true indication that this data is significantly different. So we are going to be running a t-test for paired 2 sample for means. So we will click on that and we will OK that. And this now brings up the drop down for data entry. Now I'm just clearing information that was contained in there earlier. Okay, just so we can go through the whole process. Okay. All right, so what we need to do. Firstly, we need to input our data. Now, previously, when we produced the charts, we actually only used the mean values, didn't we? But for this one, what we need to do, we need to gather all of the data, and this program will work out the means prior to deciding or producing a p-value, which will indicate whether the data is significantly different. So we need to collect the whole range. So variable 1 range, we've always historically through this video series used Wavebreak Island first, so we'll do the same here. So we're going to grab hold of the information. Make sure you've checked the cursor in the variable 1 range, and then we will grab hold of the data Wavebreak Island and through the numerical values. So in the same way as we did before, we've included the title Wavebreak Island. It just makes for better presentation and you don't have to mess about with editing. Okay, so that variable range 1 is inserted in here. We now need to collect variable range 2, and you guys are smart cookies. I'm sure you've figured it out already. So all we need to do is put our cursor into the variable 2 range box, make sure it's flashing, and then we are going to select the title, Koran Cove Marina, plus the numerical values that are underneath it. Okay, now, once you've actually entered this data into your variable ranges, we need to also click the label box. So make sure you put a check in there, because that will then ensure that this first row of information, so Koran Cove Marina and Wavebreak Island Marina, those are the labels for the data that's going to be produced. Now you'll see here the alpha figure 0.05. This is the p-value that this program is going to use to decide whether the data between the two sites is significantly different. If the p-value for the two-tailed test comes out at being less than 0.05, it means that this data that we've gathered here is significant. If it is 0.05 or above, it means that the data that we've collected is not as significant as we originally thought it was. Okay, so we'll leave the alpha figure as 0.05. The next thing we need to do is we need to check in the box and make sure that we've selected the output range. So this is merely where, once the data has been processed, the information will be placed on your worksheet. So we're just going to put it directly underneath our summary statistics right there. And that's it. So the next thing we need to do is OK that. And we have now produced some data, our t-test, for paired two-sample for means between Wavebreak Island and Koran Cove. Now, as you can see, our means are the same, so it's worked that one out for us. We've got 20.4 as the average or the mean abundance at Wavebreak Island, and 1.4 is the mean abundance at Koran Cove Marina. All right, now the important number we're looking at, remember we spoke about that alpha value before, that p-value of 0.05. So anything less than 0.05 would mean that the data that we're comparing is significantly different. Anything above or equal to or above would mean that it's not. So I would like you to now have a look down at our p-values. There's two p-values here. There's a p-value for our one tail, and there's our p-value for our two tail. Now we're not sort of considering that the number of jingle clams is less than or more than. So we're actually going to be just comparing the values, and we are going to be looking at the two-tail analysis. So our two-tail analysis for these two sites and the abundance of jingle clams is 0.019479437. And if we round that up, we're basically looking at p-value of 0.02. So 0.02 is indeed less than 0.05. So bearing that in mind, it would certainly appear that the data we collected from Wavebreak Island and Koran Cove on the abundance of jingle clams between those two sites is indeed significantly different.